Hi, my name is Frankie. Thank you for listening to my mom. I never listen.
Our little podcast roadshow continues with the head coach of Drake, Allison Pohlman. I like to call her Allison Star because that's how I remember her as a player. And we always go down this road every time I'm with you because when I see you, and it's not often enough, I'm reminded of how good of a player you were and how that's just naturally transitioned you into a terrific coach.
Oh, well, Debbie, thank you for the compliment. I wish I could move as fast as I used to. Or maybe in my mind, I thought I moved a lot faster than what I do now. But yeah, just, I mean, hey, here we are, and just aging beautifully as we all are, definitely. But just still excited to be involved in the game of basketball. I mean, it's a special thing.
Well, you've spent most of your career in Iowa, I think all of your career in Iowa, which really is amazing to me. It kind of mirrors what Lisa Bluter's doing over at Iowa. She spent her whole career in Iowa as well. What is it about the state of Iowa right now? I mean, Drake is on the top of the valley. Iowa and Caitlin Clark is ruling the universe, and Iowa State is right there chipping them right away as an NCAA tournament team as well.
Right. And right in our conference, you have the University of Northern Iowa, who's always successful as well. So I don't know if we've just got, a wonderful thing going. It's paradise around here in this wonderful, beautiful state. But if you're gonna say my name along with, like a storied legend like Lisa Bluter, obviously it's a very high compliment. But being able to stay in the state of Iowa has a lot to do with, a lot of family here and a lot of, the young women we're able to attract at Drake. Just makes, this job absolutely positively awesome to be able to work with, Midwestern, like lace them up a little bit tighter sort of young women. And yeah, just excited.
I love the style of play because I'm all offense, and that's not discounting that you don't play defense. You just choose to play a different style of defense. Everybody plays defense. It's just what kind of defense you want to play and how aggressive it needs to be. Let's talk about offense because I'm not going to talk about defense. What is it that's unique and special about your system that allows you every year to continue to produce players through your player development and your scheming that allows you to compete at the highest level?
Yeah. Well, I think the biggest thing that we're able to attract is, a lot of people throw out the word versatility, but I think, ultimately it's about being able to shoot the three, and then also make layups. And so one of the things, I think, we're overly proud about is, how well we are shooting layups, how many layups we actually get, what our system is able to produce. And then taking full advantage of every player's different strengths. We run the same system and have for a number of years, but it looks different every year because you have different personnel that you're able to plug in. And so it's just an exciting style. But the requirement is, and what we attract are 5 people constantly that are looking to score, that are scoring threats at all time, which then you get to utilize spacing. And you got to love, extending that 3-point line, extending and making things, just a little bit more spacious. We're able to have the freedom of being able to cut to the basket.
Caitlin Clark is one of the top players in the country, if not the best, leads the nation in scoring, right around the top with Juju Watkins. But in the Missouri Valley, Katie Dinenbeer, I think I said her name right, is the top scorer in the Valley. And she's just a few points below what Caitlin is doing. There's not a whole lot of separation there, 1 or 2 possessions. She's a point guard. She's also a pass first point guard, I think, even though she scores a lot of points. Break down her game a little bit for us and her scout, because she's trending right now to be the Valley Player of the Year.
Well, I think the biggest thing, Katie's able to do is she's also surrounded by phenomenal players. And that's one of the things when you talk about Caitlin Clark that she also is. And you can't dish out assists unless that other person makes the basket. So what Katie's been able to do, I think, in the evolution of her game is each and every game she does exactly what her team needs. And so this year has been a little bit more of a scoring role for her. So she's able to get to the rim. She's able to, she's shot the three extremely well, whether that's, off on ball screens, whether that's, in transition. And so I think what she's been able to do is not only distribute the ball, but she's also really, really been able to take advantage of scoring.
I had a chance in October to spend some time with her. If you will recall, I stopped by and I didn't get to go to practice because I missed practice, but I also tried to get to practice last week when I was in Iowa, and I missed that as well. Can't seem to coordinate my flights with your schedule well enough. But when I was there in October, and I have some video that I have yet to post on Katie, I was sort of waiting for the right moment. I feel like now's the time. I mean, to draw attention in February to what she's capable of doing. And what she actually did for me is very similar to what I've done with Caitlin Clark or Juju Watkins or Georgia Amore and Elizabeth Kitley at Virginia Tech. And that is teach the game 101 style, break it down. I'll be anxious for you to see what she said, because I think it's such a team first mentality. Tell us a little bit about her off the floor, because we can see what she does on the court.
Oh, Katie not only, like you talk about a true competitor, and we always call her just a bulldog because she's, she's super tenacious, not only on the offensive end. I know we're not talking defense, but she does pick it up in that, on both ends. But she's equally as competitive in the classroom. So she's a pharmacy major. And then really, this J term, she ended up having to do, 40 hours of practicum hours, and to get into, she worked at a hospital for a number of different rotations and such. And so she there's not a morning that I don't find her in the locker room studying, drawing up different, like calculations and bonds and things chemistry wise that are probably way out of my realm of understanding. And more times I just try to, draw things and like, does this bond want to come over here and set a screen? Sort of situation. But no, she's very, very dedicated to obviously her academics, but she's competitive in every regard. But she's also a little bit of a goofball and enjoys being around her team, and she makes a lot of us laugh. She has a very, very contagious sort of laugh, if you listen to her. But she's a special one. We have 13 other special ones, but yeah, definitely fun to be able to talk about her.
I'm going to want one of those diagrams with some, neutrons and electrons and whatever moving from one place to another. I want to see if she has been able to perfect the combination of the two, because I think that there is a science to the game, but I also think there's an art. And I ask this question once in a while of coaches because I'm curious about the mentality of their players. You've got some really analytic, you got to go here, the angle's got to be here, you got to do this, you got to do that, and that's a big part of it. But then there's the feel that comes with it, which is the art part of it. Where's the balance for Katie, and how does that mesh with you?
Yeah. Well, I think we have a lot of high level learners. So logic, like explaining the why, why are we doing specific drills? Why are we looking at this mismatch? Why they want to understand the why, but then ultimately fully understand that they have the keys to make the decisions and to have the feel, which I think, that art form sometimes I would say kind of comes to almost 51%, and then the other 49 might be the logical piece, but really, really appreciate that feel. And I think as Katie's continue to gain experience, and I would say this about really our upperclassmen, and you throw Grace Berg into there and Anna Miller, even a Courtney Becker, it could name half of our team. But the more experience that they attain, the more time they spend on the floor, the more they play together and develop that chemistry, really, the more their feel comes out, where they're almost able then to react and read what other people are doing. And then it starts to look magic.
Isn't that kind of like putting the reps in and putting the work in? And if you put the work in, then it becomes instinctive and it's not reactive. It's more like naturally just self-correct, move on, mentally get yourself past the next play. Is that part of the art side of it?
Oh, I definitely think so. And I think you can't have that creative component without, kind of almost challenging their thought process on, okay, if this happens to be the case, or if they switch these screens or don't switch these screens, what is your advantage? So we spent a lot of time, talking about, certain personnel and really what makes every single player on our team special. It's different for everybody. And so really to be able to continue to highlight those things for each person, and then they fully know and understand where they can find their edge. I also think, that's where we're starting to trend toward.
I can't let you go, Allison, without asking you about your triplets, because last year I think we were getting ready to start driving, and I'm sure they're all got Hot Wheels. I mean, how many cars between the three of them? Do they share? Do they get along? Do you have like a calendar in the kitchen? Who's going where, when, and how does that work?
Well, there's been a lot of threatening about having a calendar in the kitchen, but I have one that really doesn't prefer to drive, but she definitely does not pay any sort of Uber fees. Her two sisters would really like for her to do that, but no, 17, and we have 2 cars. Soon to be probably 3 as we start navigating into that, jumping into the college visits and all that sort of stuff come this spring. But yeah, as quickly as, I got slow, how many years have passed? We talked about my playing career. Your kids grow up extremely, extremely quickly too.
That's 4 cars in the household, right?
That's right. It's crazy.
4 drivers and 4.5 drivers.
4.5.
So the season's going along great. You got a lot of good games left in front of you, but right now trending towards the tournament. As we get closer, it's on everyone's mind. Could this be a 2-bid league? Do you feel the pressure of having to win the conference tournament? I mean, those are tough questions to ask, but it's better to ask you those now than to wait until March 1st and ask you those. How are you feeling about where you are right now?
Yeah. I feel really good. I feel the mentality of this team, and I would say truthfully, myself and our coaching staff is, instead of to really work and go towards simulated season and to get ahead of ourselves and, kind of look at the prize of yes, the Missouri Valley Conference, it is looming and it's coming. I sure heck, I really hope that we've done enough to build, sort of, or, like a reputation and a resume from our league to be able to be a 2-bid league, if we get to that situation. But yeah, no, I mean, feeling great. This is the best time of the year as you kind of dive toward the end of February. It sure slips away fast. So just ultimately trying to enjoy the moment and just working on trying to get better every single day.
Allison, it's always so great to have you on Nothing But Net. Thank you for joining us. You represent the Valley, the state of Iowa, and women's basketball so well, and we're so grateful that you took the time. Thank you.
Oh, no, my pleasure, Debbie. Thank you very much.